All right, it's been 25 years since Nelson Mandela signed the Constitution into law. It was a poignant moment that marked the move from the apartheid regime to constitutional democracy. The Constitution governs our lives and enriches our rights. Let's speak now to Advocate Thuli Madonsela, who helped draft the final document. Thank you very much, Advocate, for your time on eNCA. Now, our Constitution was quite tested this year. I mean, we all could argue it differently in terms of what happened with the former president and the Constitutional Court, but that is what it's really about, right? Trying to test our law to see where it can be fixed, etc.
Absolutely. Greetings and happy Constitution Day and International Human Rights Day. You're right that the Constitution says like a guardrail of some sort, keeping things on track, but it also works like a lodestar, telling us where we need to go and what we need to do to get there.
Now, you're one of the people who drafted, the Constitution and put all the rights that people have when it comes to that. But, this year has been quite challenging for everybody's rights in terms of mandatory vaccines now being a big topic. A lot of business leaders now going to the Apex Court to find out if they could get a declaratory to actually implement this at their work.
Absolutely. It is a really difficult balancing task. As I indicated, the Constitution is a lodestar telling us what kind of society we're building. And it tells us that that society has three goals: democratic values, social justice, and fundamental human rights. And it's a society that is founded on the achievement of equality, human rights, and freedoms. And that's where the apparent tension emerges. On the one hand, everyone has a right to be safe and healthy. And on the other hand, people have a right to choose what kind of medical treatment they'll subject themselves to. And the courts will have to strike a good balance between what's good for the individual and what's good for both the individual and society. And I suspect that they'll have to call upon the principle of Ubuntu, as they've done previously when dealing with these tensions.
Until today, Advocate, when we talk about what happened in Parliament not so long ago in terms of that land debate, this is something that a lot of people were promised in the Constitution. And South Africans are really, especially those who don't have land, the black South Africans, they really are running out of patience.
Absolutely. Our people are running out of patience over the entire transformative constitutionalism agenda. 27 years into democracy, inequality is stuck along the lines of apartheid, and poverty has increased. And so we do understand that people are feeling impatient, but pushing to change one tiny bit of the Constitution is not the magical pill that will ensure that every Gogo Dlamini gets land and everyone's life is improved. We need a policy framework. I think what I moan in the way government approaches things in this day is the failure to design policy and then base law on policy. In the past, during the Mandela government, we used to have a green paper which would then engage the people. If we're saying we're going to expropriate land, whose land is going to be expropriated, under what circumstances, and what would be recourse if things don't go right? And people get an opportunity to say their bit. Then you go into a white paper, and as you are dealing with these papers, you're talking to all affected groups to make sure that there's broad social consensus around the change you seek. So the shortcut that just says we're going to leverage our hard power, we're going to change the Constitution, is a bit of a problem. Even if the Constitution had been changed, people would have still probably gone to court to challenge the constitutional change, and the Constitutional Court would have a hard case of trying to reconcile the changed Constitution with the original 34 constitutional principles. But not everything is lost. I think I like the idea of government saying they're going to push the expropriation bill, which has a broad agenda. And of course, if there's any concerns around that, somebody's going to take it to court, and then we will get a court decision around what can we do. But I do urge government to continue with conversations among ordinary people, to get the average South African to understand that we cannot be at peace as long as we are unequal on the same terms that we were unequal during apartheid.
Absolutely. And Advocate, before I let you go, you know, the South African Constitution is praised internationally by many other countries that in black and white, it actually looks perfect. The promises there, the protection of people's rights, it's a perfect, paper on black and white. Are we doing well so far in South Africa in these 27 years? I mean, you mentioned the land part and how slow those wheels have been turning. But overall, would you say we're doing well in implementing what you drafted, what you were part of drafting?
I would say today is better than yesterday. Thank you to the Constitution, and thank you to those leaders who believe in its mission. Although we're doing better than yesterday, we could be doing better. And I believe it boils down to constitutional literacy. Not so long ago, we had a proposed law from a department that was saying local government has no role in advancing equality, when it's very clear in the Constitution in Section 7 that protects human rights, that every state institution not only has a role, has a duty to advance human rights. And at the core of those human rights is advancing equality and therefore advancing social justice. We need to make everyone aware that when we adopted this Constitution, we adopted it as a game changer. And this game changer was going to disrupt inequality. It was going to heal the divisions of the past by beginning to build a new society that is based on 3 pillars or 3 goals: democratic values, social justice, and fundamental human rights. And in this new society, everyone's life was supposed to be improved and everyone's potential freed. As long as we're not moving speedily in that direction, we are not going to experience peace, because as long as there's injustice somewhere, there can't be sustainable peace anywhere.
All right, thank you very much for your time. And of course, I hope as the years go on, we will do much better as a country. That was Professor Thuli Madonsela, the Chair in Social Justice from the University of Stellenbosch.